Ready.
Alright, Stewart Shull again, Tellico Grains Bakery. Today I'm going to demonstrate, you're going to see actually just one step of the process in croissant dough. To make this dough, we use butter, water, yeast, coarse flour, and a little milk powder, and of course a little yeast, salt, and just a tad bit of sugar. We mix it up in the big John Deere mixer here, and I get about 4 of these doughs. This dough right here is probably going to produce around 40 to 50 croissants. So this is about a 10-pound chunk of dough here. I'm going to lightly flour the surfaces here. I'm going to flip it over, just make sure it kind of is free-forming, not sticking to anything. And a lot of bakers will use machines on this, but not me. I use the trusted desk rolling pin. It works best and I have a little bit more control. And we can't afford a machine. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to roll this out to about 5 feet long to about a foot to 14 inches wide. Right here you want to make sure you kind of get your consistent rectangle here as best as possible. To a point here. At this point, kind of make sure nothing's sticking still. I'm going to dust off the top of the surface. And this right here is where the good part happens. We're going to use 100% real butter. And we're going to put 2 pounds in this. And I previously had hammered this out just with a rolling pin. Works out good. Alright, and we're going to dust off what little bit of flour was on the butter during the pounding process. And then at that point we're just going to fold it in. I like to kind of crimp the edges. Nothing too intense, just enough to make sure that it's not going anywhere. And same on the other side. Then make sure that you got an overlap here, a couple of inches. And like I said, croissants are usually about a 4-stage process. From making of the dough to the initial folding of the dough, which I'm demonstrating to you right now. And after we're done, it's going to go into the refrigerator so that it can rest, and then we're going to have to do the whole process all over again. That's the 3rd process. And then once it rests again, then I'll be able to actually form my croissants and triangles. But we're only going to be able to see one process of this because to make croissants takes about 2 days total. As you can see, I want to roll it out pretty thin. I really don't have a consistent number on this, but from experience, you just have the thinner the better, more surface area. And as you can see, the butter has not broken through the dough at all. It has stretched with the dough. Then again, I want to get a perfect rectangle as best I can. And then there's numerous ways you can fold this. What we do here is a tri-fold. You can also do a book fold, which adds 4 to it. But since we do a 2nd step tri-fold, we like to just do the tri-fold because we don't want to overwork the dough. That's 1. And then 2. Alright, so at this point, the dough is starting to, the gluten and the flour is starting to stretch. And it's really best to let it rest and to put it in the refrigerator. Otherwise, it's going to be hard reason why we have to have a several stage process. So what I'm going to do for you is I'm going to do one more trifold, and then we'll let it rest. This is kind of where it becomes a little bit more tough to roll out. And you can start to see all the layers in here. Okay, and at this point, we're going to put it in the refrigerator, and I'll probably jump back to it around 6 or 7 o'clock this evening. It's around 1 o'clock right now, so let it rest for several hours. I try not to do it overnight because the actual dough will start, I guess, expanding, and I might lose my butter layer within the two. So I'd like to do it within, a several hour span, never overnight. So anyway, that's one stage. Thanks a lot.